Approval of the agenda. I want to make one adjustment to the agenda. Aiden Bahailo is here. He's going to go first and give us, here's Tom, and give, so everybody's here. He's going to give us an update on his, this might be your final one, huh?
Yeah, this is
Yes,
actually
the final update on his wonderful project.
Alright, cool. So, hey guys, my name is Haddam.
Mayor,
I've been working
we
with
don't
the
have a motion. right?
Conservation Commission for the past,
We don't have
8
a
months
motion
or so.
You're okay, okay.
We just
No,
need,
it's okay.
I'm
No,
sorry.
No,
No, go ahead.
no.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're fine.
Alright, perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Alright, yeah, so in keeping with tradition, I mean, it wouldn't be a meeting with me if I didn't, hand out 100 pages. So, just pass that around. So, what I'm handing out now is an activity log of everything I've done from, the conception of the project to completion. Also included is a bunch of, financial stuff. You can keep one of those. Here's a packet detailing a summary. You can pass these around, too. Thank you.
very thorough. Thank you.
This is just one
Yeah.
staple.
Here is an Eagle Scout message to the beneficiary that I was supposed to give you 8 months ago, but here it is. It's just detailing what the beneficiary does.
There's more coming.
To really hand
Excuse
it
me,
out.
Aiden,
Yes.
did you want us to pass this around, or?
Yeah, just to look at it. That's more of
Okay,
the hard cut numbers and stuff. It doesn't look pretty. It's just spreadsheets.
okay, but you only have one copy.
Oh no, you guys can keep those. I've got other copies.
Well.
Oh yeah, no, I only have 2 copies actually.
Yeah, oh, okay. Shouldn't actually,
Does everyone have a copy of
Yes,
the
thank you. Appreciate that.
the development packet?
Yep.
Very cool. Alright, so I'll give you a minute to look through that. Alright, so all of you guys know what my project was about, right? The Davison property development. So as of December 28th, 2019, I deemed the project complete. So in total, the project encompassed raised publicity for the Davison property, the preservation of historical information, restoration of the trail network, development of the vista, and then of course a trailhead kiosk. So the project took a total of 8 months and 21 days. It had a total of 41 people and 228 man hours. In the pie chart, I detail how I spent more money on drinks than on picnic tables. So I thought that was funny and interesting. So it's a very detailed breakdown.
You have to keep everybody hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. So
Where'd you find 41 people?
the manpower comes from people from the troop, my family members, just friends in the school,
Okay.
and in total 41 people worked on the project. I also got the East Haddam Public Works involved in the project. Mr. Zaid came and helped to build the kiosk, so just a lot of people were involved.
Great.
Some of these people came, every work party. Others only showed up once, and that was perfectly okay. So that's pretty much. So the summary is just the general overview of what the project got done, and just some basic information. So in total, $1,753.82 were raised. $1,204.22 was spent. So I don't know if you guys remember, but a year ago I had estimated that $1,200 would be spent, and I was $4 off from that estimate, so that was pretty cool.
And 22 cents.
And 22 cents, yeah. So that leaves a $549.60 in excess, and all of that money is going to be going to you guys, the beneficiary, because just the excess it's raised for you. So I don't have a check, unfortunately, for you guys right now, but once the project is approved and all the paperwork is signed and all the money's reimbursed, then I can give you guys the check. But that's not until, so let's say you guys don't like what I've done with the project and you're like, oh, we need you to do this. I can't give you any money because, let's say I need that money to go and do something more. So that's it.
Okay.
So then I've got some photos of work parties and whatnot. So this is April 7th and June 1st. These are my first and second. These work parties were dedicated to improving the trail. So in the first one where there's no leaves on the trees, this is us preparing for the East Haddam Public Works. So the deal was that we had with them is we would restore the trails enough so they could get their dozer up there and grout the hill and then eventually grout the vista. So that's what we did for that first one. The second one is us cutting a lot of trees and restoring the back end. The July 14th and July 26th work parties. So the one above is us. Again, another deal we had with the East Haddam Public Works is if we went in and we did the bulk of the clearing with like a brush mower, Steve Heather would come in with his big machinery and get the stuff we couldn't get. So that's what July 14th was dedicated to. And then July 26th was when Steve Heather showed up with his big dozer and just basically cleared the whole area out. So that is very cool. And then October 12th and the quasi work parties. I call them quasi work parties because it was just mainly me and my dad, and that stuff like how you're not gonna have 20 kids with a drill or like a hammer shingling and stuff. So that's what that was. And there's Mr. Zaid helping us build the kiosk, and then some guys building benches. And so yeah, those are sort of the work processes. So that way you guys can get an insight of sort of what went down. If you guys want more photos or you want more details as to what actually went down during those parties, you can just ask. So on the next page is the project complete, and then some before and after photos. So back in February of last year, I said that I was going to repair the trails, grout the hill, grout the vista, develop the vista, and install a kiosk. And I've done just that. So there are 4 benches, 2 are on the vista, 1 is on the hill going up, and then 1 is on the back. I've installed 2 picnic tables on the kiosk. No, on the vista. That'd be quite the table.
Yes.
And the trailhead kiosk, which is very cool. It details all the historical information of the site.
Is that two-sided?
The kiosk is not. Just because, have you guys been to the Davison property yet? Oh yeah, alright, perfect. So the way the kiosk is the kiosk is here, and then immediately behind it is like a sudden hill that's really far up, so you can't really walk behind it. What we did, if you really want to, you could install a back, but you just have to dig out that back end. But have you guys seen the kiosk yet? Or
No.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Smith. Nice. So nice. Yeah. Here is a thank you. Pamphlet, Very cool. So the Trailhead kiosk, it has a bunch of information on the Davison family, as well as information of Walter Golek and his experience during World War II, growing as a child with the property, and then some other information. So, and then the before and after photos. So the top left one is the vista back in January 16th. So that was when it was, there's still brush up there. It's grown over. It's a mess. And then the photo after that is December 28th when the gravel was laid down by Steve Heather. We cleared it out. It's picnic tables, benches, very beautiful up there now. The middle left is the hill without any drainage, no gravel. And then the right is obviously all repaired. And
Wow,
then
that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So on the middle left, it would be impossible to drive machinery or trucks up there. And then on the right, it's completely possible. We actually went up there when it was still muddy and stuff, and it wasn't even, it was wet, but we were able to get up there no problem. So in the summertime when everything's dry, you should have no issue driving a lawnmower up there or just machinery or anything like that. So just some basic observations and questions on the back. So this stuff is more for Troop 22 and whatnot, because the troop wants to know what went well with the project, what was challenging. I know you guys don't really that's not the priority. The priority for you guys is whether or not the project is done. And I can say with full confidence that the project is complete. So do you guys have any questions? Oh, yes.
Yeah, are you going to join the Conservation Commission after school?
After school, honestly,
College.
In college, yeah, I probably will.
Good.
I probably will.
We need members like you.
Yeah, no, I'll probably get. Well, I don't want to get. Is this recording, right?
It is recorded.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. So a bunch of us after leaving Troop 22 will probably come here because we enjoy being in the outdoors and cleaning and stuff. So a bunch of us will probably join. Cool. Any other questions?
What is What went well? It's his fundraising efforts, no bake sales. What's the thing about no bake sales?
So,
That went well that you didn't have bake sales?
Yeah, so like I'm not.
Okay for you.
I love baked goods. I love baked goods. I think cookies and stuff. I think that's fantastic. But from like a financial and like fundraising view, I don't like them just because it's a huge it's a lot of time, a lot of money, and the profit margin just isn't there. And so like I feel also with like in the troop and stuff, people are gonna be like, oh, we baked for you. We don't need to help out on your work
yeah.
party.
Oh, I get it, okay.
And like
Yep.
like I'd rather have people raking than baking me cookies.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I get
it was
it.
just better to
Good answer.
Better raking than baking. I don't know.
yeah. I mean
So, let me just ask, so if you didn't need to rely on bake sales, how exactly did you raise the money?
So I sent letters to all of the local businesses, and I set up a GoFundMe page. Wait, do I attached on the activity log? Do I have the fundraising thing?
I thought you had them.
Because I know I have the expenses in there,
Right.
Yeah, last year.
but if not, I don't know if I included that. But no, I have a complete ledger of all the funds raised. And
Oh, donated materials,
The
yeah.
GoFundMe page was really successful, huh?
yeah, the GoFundMe page raised. Here is the full of
Watermelon.
Chair.
So yeah, that's the full financial. So what I did is I sent letters out to all the local businesses, and then back in April or March there was a newspaper thing about like my Eagle Scout project, and that one a lot of people sent like $10 or $35, and that every little bit helps.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
That's some really good responses.
yeah. So
Yeah.
GoFundMe raised $450, and then I got $1,100 from just all the local businesses. And I think what helped was I said that like I'll machine a plaque and you get your name tacked on if you donate $100. So there was that, and then family helped out, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
really good.
That's how I skirted around that.
Ah.
I actually raised past what I needed because I had estimated 1,200, but then I thought I could do it with only 900, and then I raised 1,700. So I'm like, oh, I have all this money, so I just kind of I spent a lot more on the kiosk, on the tables and whatnot. So
Can I just also ask, tell me about the drama of the incorrect P.O. box. There must have been a
Oh.
drama there.
yeah. So on the newspaper thing, it said that a Troop 22 P.O. box was 06042. Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly. That's the one for the East Haddam post office, but like the Troop 22 post office is in Moodus. It's the
06469.
Yeah, exactly. So I only found out because there was like a lady. She was like that like yellow stamp that they put on the letters. It's like returned.
Yep.
Because so they got that and it was like, hey, Christopher John Bahailo, this didn't get to your son. So then I'm like, oh shoot, because then it said send checks to 06, whatever.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, okay.
So then I was like, oh no, I'm missing all of these funds because it was after like a week or two after the thing went out. I'm like, this is interesting. I have no money. So yeah, and then I'm like, this is a problem. So then it got corrected. Everything got changed. In the end, it wasn't bad, but it was just kind of annoying. Like in the first months, it was like March. I'm getting ready to have my first work party, and I have no money. And I'm like, okay. So yeah.
Can I just a quick question on this second page of pictures?
Yeah.
Who is that up in the tree, and what are they doing?
Oh yeah, so that is my scoutmaster, Mr. Allen, right? So I should have included the original photo, but there's a widowmaker wedged in the crotch of a tree about 15, 20 feet up above the trail, and we're like, we can't have this because some little Sparky scout is walking down, the tree falls down, and kills him.
Right.
So that's not good. So he went on with crampons, he just climbed up the tree and just cut it. So that's
Oh my
that's that photo.
Well, that raises a good question. Did you find a lot of dead trees up on
Yeah, so
Finland?
Yeah, so in the initial photos, there were like a bunch of cedar trees down all over the place. It was just really bad, and also even on the trail up, there were a lot of low hanging trees, so it would have been impossible to drive like a vehicle up there. And the purpose of the project was to be able to get a vehicle up there. So we had to, in the first and second work parties, cut a lot of trees down, and move all that wood out. And there were a lot of piles of cedar that we eventually pulled out and made benches out of. So that was cool.
So I guess my question was, are there a lot of standing dead trees that could be hazardous to people?
Currently no. Not anymore. There were before back in April, but now the trail is completely safe. There's only about one or two, but they're far in the woods in the very back of the property, so it's not an issue.
Because that's a big concern of ours right now.
Yeah, down trees and
With
whatnot.
all the dead trees.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but the Davison, I walked it, December 28th, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. The trails are looking good, so nobody's there.
You did a great job.
Yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
fabulous.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say thank you, and we appreciate all the detail you put into it, and it's a very generous and good job you did for us, so. And I also wanted to ask you if you mind staining it, or we usually stain all of our kiosks. Or if you mind if we did that to it, if you didn't feel it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind. It's like this project, it is yours, like, like,
So you're turning it over?
well, yeah, no, I have to, like, it's, you guys own the Davison property. Everything I've done was under your name, so.
I don't want to do anything to it without your permission.
Oh, no,
Or
you go ahead.
unless you want to do it.
Yeah, no, go right ahead, yes.
Just,
No.
all right, just to
And
match
you-
the other message.
Yeah, no, thank you. For future improvements for the site, I mean, I think it's pretty good right now, but in the future, I don't think the vista is at its peak yet. Have you guys been there to the top of the vista? Like,
Not since it's been cleared, no.
so it's good now that we've grouted it and stuff. But a lot of the issue wasn't like the low-lying brush. It's the fact that there's like, if you're looking out, there's like a bunch of trees right here that need to go, and then there's some in the distance that also need to go. I thought that clearing all that out would be beyond my capabilities and the project, but maybe in the future, another Eagle Scout or potential Eagle Scout could come along and finish it up.
Yeah, I think we anticipated that we'd have to clear more of the vista.
Yeah.
Okay, and you think we need more benches and tables?
Not really. That was just kind of like,
Possibly,
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe.
depending on how popular it is, and, okay, and tree removal, obviously for dying trees. And then expansion of the back end of the trail network.
yeah, so there's a lot of like runoff and stuff, and like we cleared up the trails. They're pretty good, they're walkable. But there's some like, if it rains, a heavy rain, it's gonna get kind of marshy and muddy. So like some bridges might have to be built, especially like towards like the back loop when you're coming back. But it's fine. It's just like don't walk it when it's like pouring out. That's my advice to the hikers.
Okay.
Just another question, and this is probably not a question for you, but for us. We had spoken, I think, from time to time about some sort of public acknowledgement or press event or something, some way for the public to know what wonderful thing has happened here. And I don't know if you have thoughts about that, or we should.
Bless you. I was just gonna, email Mr. Holohan, David Holohan of the East Haddam newspaper, just be like, hey, my project's done. Here's some information. Here's a photo. Newspaper. But if you guys have any ideas.
Well, I think we'd like to do something
Thank you.
for the public in
Okay.
conjunction with the Conservation Commission. And now with the Boy Scouts, with the Eagle Scout project, don't you get some sort of recognition that they do some sort of ceremony at some point for you?
Yeah. So originally what my initial plan was to, get everyone up there, have the signatures and whatnot. But to be honest, I don't think the property is capable of handling like 50 plus people
Right.
at the Vista, because there's only 2 picnic tables, 2 benches up there. People are gonna have to be standing like 100 feet down the hill, so like.
The neighbors might not like it either.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how practical that'd be, because I would have liked to have done, have everyone over there, come see what I did kind of deal. I don't know if that's possible, that's the only
Well, maybe
issue.
we plan something small just for the Conservation Commission and for some guests that you would invite.
Yeah.
And that we invite Dave Hallahan to,
There you go.
Hallahan, how do you pronounce his name?
Oh,
Hallahan.
and some pictures
Hala,
for the
Hala,
local paper.
Halla,
And
Han, right.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe we do that and that gets in the paper? And
Yeah,
we
I think
plan
that would be-
something relatively
Yeah.
soon?
And if there's any way we can sort of set it up as kind of a ribbon cutting, that
Yeah.
some way to you know, to
Yeah.
sort of be the,
Would you be comfortable with that?
Yeah, no, I'd be
Okay.
perfectly fine. I think that'd
You
be
don't
cool.
seem to be too shy, so.
Nah, nah, we're pretty good.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Okay,
Um,
so we'll work on a date and I'll reach out to you and make sure that's agreeable to you and to your family.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll just.
Now, this was fabulous. Working with you was really wonderful. You're really an amazing person
Thanks.
in many ways.
Yeah, thank you.
if I remember correctly, then eventually your Eagle Scout status comes to something called a Court of Honor or
Yeah.
something. And where is that in your future? Where are you in that process?
So after this, hopefully, you know, I'm gonna get your signature saying that the project is complete. Then I gotta go to my scout master. He says, "Yup, great job," signs it off. Then I have to talk to the council, the state council. Then they look at it. They review all my Boy Scout information plus my Eagle Scout project. They're like, "Yes, he is eligible." And then I have to present to my Troop 22 board. I'm probably gonna finish all of that by February.
Okay,
So I'm looking towards like March, April, probably April.
okay,
So just to give you a timeline.
okay.
So yeah.
All right, so just let me know when you need anything from me. And
Okay.
we'll try to work on getting something ready for the newspaper soon.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, and if you need anything else in between, just let me know.
We'll do.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
Great job.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Yeah, thank you guys. I put the East Haddam Conservation Commission on the plaque. Put
Yeah,
Rob Smith. Your name
We
is-
saw, Rob showed us at the last meeting what your kiosk looked like, and it was very impressive.
Very cool. Thank
So
you.
you did a great job.
All right. Thank you guys.
We
So-
hope to work with you again in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to
In
it.
a non-Eagle Scout way.
Yeah.
He sets the
We'll
standard
save you a chair.
now, though, for the.
I'll get
A
a
future
chair.
chairman, right there. Future chair, right there.
Oh.
Really wanted.
And if you'd like to
Just got the
participate,
job.
I know.
you're welcome to
All right.
have it.
Thank you.
Succession planning is really important.
This is something we're thinking about putting in the events magazine also, at some point. Should we gain permission?
See, we'll talk about
The,
it, yeah.
of course, if we do a ribbon cutting, that would be a great photo op, but
Yeah.
the deadline for the next events magazine is like
The 10th.
tomorrow or something
Oh,
like
The
that,
10th,
right?
yeah, so,
So it would have to be in a future one.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
But it's a possibility.
All right. So I need you to sign this.
Another
It's under
pen?
the. Yeah, I got
Another
it right
pen?
here.
He's not gonna let you get away.
Okay.
So it's under the
Beneficiaries?
beneficiaries. Yep.
Want a piece of cake?
Oh yeah. So unfortunately, I need these back because the school is kind of mad again. I can only.
Oh.
You want these
Yeah,
back?
yeah. Those you can keep one.
Okay, I'm gonna keep one for the minutes.
Can I keep
Yeah.
one for Walt? Because I'll be seeing Walt on Thursday.
Well, yeah, go
Walt
ahead.
Golick.
Oh, nice. Yeah, go
He
ahead.
would appreciate it, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Would you
Thank you.
keep
Yeah,
one?
he was.
I have one for the minutes, yep, I do. Yep.
Yeah, the
You
school.
need these two?
Yes.
Activity log too?
Oh, you can keep the activity
Okay.
log.
Okay.
Do you want that to be part of the minutes, Marilyn, the activity log?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a good
There's two
idea.
of them, there's,
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. No. What I do is I ask different teachers to print me the colors. I probably shouldn't have said anyway. So what I do is I always go to the front. So whenever I'm printing the most, I go to the front office. Hey, I need 15 copies, right? They're like, wow, this is 135 pages of full color, and I'm like, yes. So and then they print it and they're very mad. And then I go to like my chemistry teacher and I'm like, hey, I need 15 copies printed. She's like, that's a lot of color. It's like, yeah, okay. And then I have 30 copies. And they're like, why is there no blue ink?
Dad wants to say something.
Yeah, I've got a question. Why do they want them back?
Oh no, because I need these for Troop 22.
Oh, I thought you were giving back. So I'm like, why? The school is going to throw them out.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I'm not gonna be like, here's the color back.
Oh, you're going to use
Yeah, no,
them
so-
for Gotcha.
Yeah, I
Never
need
mind,
these
sorry.
for the Troop 22 board. Just because it's very boring if, it's just me up here and you guys are like awkwardly staring at me. So that's kind of that's not needed.
That's
So
really
I also pass this out to adults.
Is there a merit badge for comedy?
Yeah,
Oh, probably like public speaking is? I don't know.
we need to give him a patch. We need to give him a patch.
We're finagling.
Yeah, cool. So that's all I have for you guys. You have all the resources I've given. And I just want to say I had a really great time working with all of you. It was fun working with Mr. Zaid, Mr. Smith, all of you guys. Getting this project done, sending the updates, and it was just nice to know that if I ever needed help, I could always go to you guys and be there to support. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you very much for choosing to work with us.
Yeah. So initially my plan was to build picnic tables and benches here, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, we are too.
Alright, perfect. So
Thank you very much, David.
that's all I have.
So when our taxes go up, we'll see blue ink, who's starting.
Yeah.
How we
Big
know.
expenses. So thank you guys. So
You wanna give
am
her
I
a
good?
piece of cake?
You're
Would you
good.
like some cake?
Oh yeah.
I would like a piece.
You are going to eat a piece of cake, buddy.
Yeah.
So, there we go.
Thank you guys, Mr. Smith. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a good journey. So
Yeah, why don't you do that for me? That would do me proud.
And remind me, you are a junior?
I am a junior in high school. Yeah, I unfortunately have one more year left.
Oh, it's the best years of your life.
I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time.
And so this is the summer, next summer, where you'll be thinking about colleges in the
Yeah.
future, and have you starting to formulate plans for what you'd like to do?
Yeah. So I'm looking towards civil engineering and stuff like that. My top college is obviously MIT and Cornell, but those are super reach schools. Who knows if I'll get in?
Yeah,
Um,
you might as well.
Carnegie Mellon, WPI, that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
I don't know if I'll actually go the college route. Who knows what'll happen? But I've got a lot of options.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Right, well, that's wonderful. Well, we will be eager to hear. I
All right.
hope you'll keep us posted.
All right,
So-
perfect. Thank you.
Again, this is
All right, thank you.
blood orange olive oil cake.
Small one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys
Thank you very much.
Thank
All right.
you very
Thank
much.
you guys.
You.
Smith.
Good night.
Thank you guys. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Citrus.
Take care. Thank you again.
Charlotte, cake for you?
No, I'm on low carb.
Tom?
Thank you so much.
I love carbs. I love gluten.
Yeah, they're the best.
I love gluten too.
Gluten and carbs, baby. All the way.
Well, that was wonderful.
Monkeys?
Rob,
Why
what
does
have
his
you
dad
done to
look
yourself?
familiar to me? Who's his dad?
He runs All Waste, I think it is.
Reliable.
Have forks? You want
Our
fork?
oldest boy, Mark. They're good
Maybe
buddies.
Might
He's
help.
got the greatest smile.
Yeah, great guy.
Always trash disposal.
Is there a story behind a broken elbow? Is there
A good story.
Don't
I
have
fell out of an attic when the ladder went up from under me.
Oh, crap.
All right.
Oh, my
okay,
goodness.
Is that everybody? You want one?
Sure.
You're passing
Well, you're-
down?
you're
Oh, thank
lucky
you.
it was only
Do you
your
need one,
elbow
Gary?
then.
No, I'm good. Thank
Joe?
you.
I'm good, thank you.
No, what do you want then? It's really good.
My ankle
Good
and
night.
foot.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Thank
And
you.
Black and blue.
did you get hauled away in an
Yeah,
ambulance?
just wait, I guess.
Thank you for
Just
being
a
the cutter.
suggestion to the commission that we may, if we see that check for $500, we may
Yes.
want to look at the site and see if there are some areas where we can put some native plantings.
Yeah, and I was thinking that we might want to, are we able to accept
no,
the leftover
I
money?
don't eat fruit.
Okay.
Send that down to the other side of the,
They said
They
they
don't
don't
want
want any.
oh, sorry.
Oh, this is a fabulous flavor combination, Marilyn.
I'll bring a piece with me home, though.
You don't want to?
You want to take it home with you? We'll
I'll
send
take
it.
one home.
Where does the blood come in?
It's blood, they're red, the orange, have you ever seen a blood orange?
No.
Oh.
It looks like a little orange, but it's red inside,
Thank you, Message.
Oh,
so that's, it looks like blood.
No animals were harmed.
No
in the
animals were
making of-
harmed, no
bad.
beavers were killed.
Too bad.
Marilyn.
I know somebody would like to kill a beaver.
But did you use eggs in the cake?
Yes,
Well,
3 eggs in the cake.
the real strict vegans would say animals were killed.
Yeah,
if
oh,
you
I know,
used
well,
eggs.
no animals get killed but for eggs.
Not unless they're fertilized.
Oh,
Not unless they're
They're not
fertilized.
fertilized.
well, I know somebody who's a real, what I call a rabid vegan and totally, nothing having anything to do with animals. And she keeps posting these things about, all the male chicks just get killed because nobody wants them because they don't lay eggs, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, oh.
Okay,
Feels sorry.
so,
Oh, just a quick question. I think there was a question about how do we handle a check from
yeah,
Aiden.
Rob said we can accept the check. And It's like, we can accept the donation, just add it, how do we add it to our,
That I'm not sure about.
okay. But yeah, I think doing native plants would be a great idea.
Around the area of the picnic tables, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
around
you know,
piano,
just looking at
maybe-
the
maybe
pictures
up at
here,
the- Maybe up
and
at the
there,
sun.
there is, like right here, now you don't wanna clog up the vista, but you can get some shrubs
Yeah,
put in right in this area here. And that would maybe help control some of the erosion as well. I heard Aiden talking about there being some erosion in some of the areas, so it's something to consider for the springtime.
We could also do some invasive control there, cause there's quite a few invasives
Yeah, there
with
are.
that money, and maybe have to pay somebody 500 to clear some more vista too.
to do what?
To clear some more of the vista for us with that money.
Well, I don't know if we wanna, well, if we have to pay someone, but
Well, I'm just
preferably we could do it
speaking.
ourselves.
Use it. Use
Well,
it for
if we
some of
can
the
find-
dangerous trees.
We've done it ourselves in the past, though. If
Yeah,
we could do it
absolutely.
ourselves and then use the money for something else, like plantings, I think would be,
Maybe the
Better
beavers
use-
would do it.
huh?
Maybe the beavers would do it.
Yeah, we should train.
You're
a
gonna get
team
her
of
wound
beavers
up, aren't
to
you?
help
You're gonna get her wound up.
Take this tree.
Don't get her wound up. It's only 8 o'clock.
Okay, moving on. Approval of the Conservation Commission minutes.
We haven't done the agenda motion yet.
Oh, approval of the agenda. So I'm gonna be very awkward for a while, so you just have to get used to me. Approval of the agenda.
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, does anyone have any discussion, anything to add?
It's you, okay.
All in favor?
All in favor? Anyone opposed?
I did note, Marilyn, that the Eagle Scout update was first, so.
Thank you. Okay, next is the approval of the Conservation Commission minutes of 12/3.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Well, page 4, just, it
Oh,
says
hang on.
Mr. Smith.
Oh, I was.
Okay, that's on page 4. All right, so
Did you?
what number is that? 8? Number 8?
8.
6.
You have some?
Yeah, under number 5.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Give me 1 second.
Where?
Number 8. You said number 5, Marilyn?
Number 5, A, the first sentence.
Yep.
Mr. Wilson planted 5 ferns.
You know, is it ferns or is it
I
fern?
thought it was ferns.
I wasn't sure what the plural was there. It's ferns?
I would,
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Okay, so I'll make 5
add an
ferns
S.
and then I'll put on the other one, the red ferns, I'll put S's on both of those, okay?
Okay, then under C, I was confused on what, it says before Mr. Wilson planted the remaining plants, the next to last course for the path has been put down. It didn't make sense. Has to be put down? Must be put down? What is that? That didn't make sense to me. What does that really mean?
So what the discussion was that Gary has some remaining plants to plant, but
Right.
that there needs to be more work done on the path before he can do that.
There's one more course of
There's
stone.
Of stone, do you want me to say the next to last course of stone for the path?
No, it says has been put down or has to be.
Oh, has to, it
Has to
has,
be
to-
put
it should be
down.
has
Has
to
to be, that's what I was, yeah.
be, that's it, okay,
Okay.
okay, that's it, has to be put down.
Okay,
That's C.
all right, and then under D, when you're ready.
5D, yes.
Okay, where it says, let's see, 1, 2, 3, it says Ms. Gleason suggested that the CC consider, the CC continues on other projects, is it other properties? Can also be a project, the CC continues on other properties?
Oh, okay, do you want it to be
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's what we meant.
properties? Yeah, I could say that.
And then the last sentence in that one,
Projects to properties. Okay,
there will be a grand opening instead of just grand opening.
got it,
And then both Eagle Scout projects are going very well.
okay.
Under number 6,
If you've never been to an Eagle Scout Court of Honor, I hope we get invited, or I hope at least you get invited. They're
We
really,
do get invited, don't we
It's-
usually get invited?
it's really
Somebody
quite,
gets, well, Rob, Rob, haven't you been invited in the past?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Typically, the chair gets invited, but, who knows, with Aiden, you may invite the entire,
Where do they hold those?
well, they
Teacher.
can decide where they hold them. His family will pick a place. Sometimes it's in a church or it's in a hall,
Okay, yeah.
they
Six?
pick
No,
a
just
place,
one more.
but they're really quite an experience to see, yeah.
Okay, I have one more thing here.
Yep, 6.
Under 6B,
Yep.
the non-lapsing funding has about, it either should be about 17,000 or $17,100.
Okay, I'll say about. Do you want? Are you okay with about?
Yeah, about
Okay.
is fine.
All right. Has about.
I
added
think
about.
that was it.
About to be for the- Any other?
Anybody else have anything? I need a motion to approve the
Actually,
minutes,
we do have a motion already.
but as amended? Don't we
I
need a
thought-
motion to approve them as amended?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll second that. Or I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Need a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Yep. Okay. Old business, subcommittee updates. Stewardship and forestry was handled by Todd. So we don't really have much except that we had a New Year's Day hike on Chagru, and there's gonna be a parking lot installed there. Rob told me today that there's gonna be gravel dropped there for the parking lot. But it brings to mind the fact that we do need someone to take over the stewardship and forestry management. And I wondered if anyone had any thoughts or anyone has any desire to do that. Because we need to keep track of what properties need to be prioritized to work on next.
I think Sue has expressed an interest of possibly being the steward for the Chagru property, so
No,
that,
but we need someone who manages it from the Conservation Commission perspective, not a steward of the property.
I mean,
But-
chairs the subcommittee.
Chairs
Yeah.
the subcommittee.
Usually doesn't work out as planned anyway, either, so.
But that doesn't mean it can't.
How far
start
in the
working
future?
out as planned.
So you're saying we're looking for nominations for the position
Or someone who's interested, if someone's
of
interested.
chairman of the stewardship
I'd
committee?
certainly be interested.
Okay.
What does it entail?
Well, it always entailed prioritizing what the next project is gonna be, what the next property we're
Does
gonna
that
work
come
on.
from you?
No, it comes from whoever,
Oh,
with agreement with the whole commission usually, we all usually agree on it. It's usually a subset of this commission, it's usually not everybody on the commission. There can be separate meetings held. It also means notifying people of work parties when there's gonna be a work party. And with Todd, it involved sort of coordinating those stewardship Saturdays as well,
Right.
twice a year.
twice a year.
And he wanted me to remind everybody that you need to start looking forward to the next one, planning ahead. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, I'll pass the message.
So you're interested in taking on that leadership?
Yeah,
role?
I'd consider it, yeah. You need an answer right now, or?
No, I mean, I think by the next meeting we need one, but it would
Yeah.
be nice if we got one now.
And just so you know, if you have any minutes, I post them and do all that, and I come to wherever you're having the meeting and take the minutes, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
Well, if Bernie doesn't want to do it, I volunteer. I got the most time out of all of us out there on the trails, so I know it's, other than Rob, I've been out there the most in this room. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think, Birdie's been out on the land trust stuff too a lot, so
Yeah, that takes up some of my time too.
he does a lot of that.
Would you consider,
I'd work
Say,
with
do
as a team.
a
Well,
co-chairmanship,
let them
Well,
decide.
I don't, I was just
just offering a suggestion.
not necessarily a chairman job. It's just itemizing what we have to do and when we have to do it, correct?
So
Why don't you guys thrash it out?
Okay,
okay. So you two wanna talk it over and
well, you can pencil me in,
pencil you in,
yeah.
pen you in.
Okay, and me in.
Okay. So I don't think we need to make a vote on this, because I don't think we did this with Todd. People just stepped up and decided they were gonna take the leadership role, so.
I think you're right on
I
that
don't
one.
really
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, I think you're right.
Unfortunately, it
I'd like to talk to Todd at some point
Oh, yeah,
about,
yeah, just give them a call.
We had a whole list, we had a list of every single property, and we'd go through it. And to me,
Minutia.
to me, we should really just list the top 10 properties, because we never are gonna get beyond 10 in a year, unless some miracle occurs, but, we should just have the top 10 and decide what we need to do, and,
other things come up, so
yeah.
it's only
things come
good
up,
to a
it
certain
just-
point anyway.
Right. So,
but you don't wanna neglect any properties either,
no, we
Yeah.
definitely don't.
yeah.
And then I think part of it is in conjunction with the volunteer activism, which is trying to get more people involved in the public. And I'd like to really see if we can work on that this year and get more people involved, because we're such a small group that there's only so much we can accomplish on our own. So, okay, so, I think you would be a great person to lead that. Thank you very much for volunteering. And, Joe can be a help too on that.
Can I
Thank you,
get
Joe.
phone numbers for everybody on the commission?
Shannon, would you have that?
You have
Do
one?
I don't have phone numbers, but I can send an email to everybody and ask me to
Yeah,
provide
that
them.
would be
And
great.
I'll include Sue.
I wish we had a place we could put them, don't wanna put them on the website, cause the
Probably not.
public would
No,
have access to
no.
them. I wish we had a private
Yeah, we
webpage.
don't have one. I was just thinking that. Could we get a private
Bob.
webpage?
No?
But if Shannon just types up a list of everybody
Yeah,
that's on it, then
Emails them, yeah.
emails it to everybody.
If
Yeah.
you don't wanna give out your phone number, that's fine, but,
Yeah, right.
it'd be nice to be able to contact you guys.
So this means that the texts that were coming from Rob about work parties will now be coming from you?
Yeah,
I believe so.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Volunteer activism, what was that anyway? Does anyone know what that really was?
That was getting new volunteers,
Yeah, but who was
Who
on?
was in charge of that?
I don't think we really knew. I think it was, we
That
always.
was, there was somebody that was here that left. Wasn't it, Pat Thomas's wife? No, Pat Thomas? Harvey Thomas's wife, she was on?
Pat Thomas?
Pat did it, yeah, Pat Thomas.
That was years ago then,
Two
obviously.
at least, yeah. I think she ran that, because she was going out to the schools and she was talking to,
Oh,
remember that whole
So we
thing?
really haven't had
No.
anybody.
Not for a while.
So I think it's something we need. So maybe we need to talk about this at the next meeting and see what it entails and see if someone wants to step up and do that. So we'll put this on the agenda for a deeper discussion at the next meeting.
Yep.
So think of ideas of how we can get more volunteers and be prepared for the next meeting to bring them forth.
well, I mean, we do, at this point, we do use the newspaper, right? To announce that we're having
No, a
No.
work party, no. But that's.
just
yeah,
the
that-
two in the spring and the fall,
Just those Stewarts
Oh,
and
I see.
Saturdays,
Okay.
yeah.
but not,
Newspaper,
Yeah,
not regular work
Right.
parties, yeah.
and maybe we should, I mean, why not? As
Yeah.
long as we know in advance. The problem is, it's dependent on the weather, and then you have to, how do you notify people that it's been canceled, if it's been canceled? But,
Unfortunately, people don't want to volunteer nowadays.
I know, well, then, a lot of times they can't because they're so busy with kids in school and activities and stuff, so.
It's a tough.
Okay, outreach and promotion? That's Miss Sue here.
Well, and really, pretty much it's been writing the articles for the quarterly bulletin or any press releases. So, and we just submitted a article for the next one. It's going to be on charcoal circles. So,
Oh, is that what we're gonna do? Good.
yep.
That's for the January 10th one, right?
Yep, the
Yep.
one that's due in a couple of days. And happy to write any sort of press, anything that involves writing stuff. I'm your person here, so just keep me posted anytime there's a press release or a need to write something.
Well, are we gonna put a thing in about Aiden's project in the next quarterly events one?
Well, that's not gonna be now for 3 more months, and hopefully in between now and then, maybe there would be a ribbon cutting, because that would make, you really need a photo op for that, so.
Yeah.
um,
But I mean, we should be planning ahead that should be in it,
That would
because
be
a lot of people wouldn't necessarily read the newspaper, but perhaps they do read the events magazine, because it only comes out 4 times
Right.
a year.
It would be an excellent, we just have to make sure we have the January, February, March, April. The deadline will probably be sometime late April. So if we can pull off a ribbon cutting before late April, that would make the time work out. For Earth Day.
For Earth Day, right?
Which is April 22nd, or sometime in April, that would be good to get that. And we should put it in the paper. I think we could probably make put it in the newspaper also.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
paper gets read a lot.
Yeah, the
Yeah, it
paper
does.
does get read off very quickly. Okay. Are there any other subcommittees that we think we need? That kind of covers everything off the top of my head, but
Sue? Basically Sue?
basically what?
Just Sue as the subcommittee?
Yeah, I mean, you don't need
She's the
any
only
help,
subcommittee, isn't she?
do you?
I'll reach out if,
Yeah.
yep, I will,
Yeah. I mean, if it's writing, usually it's just one person.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you
And
think
she
of
does
other,
reach out for additional information if she needs
Yeah.
some expertise.
if you think of other projects that, and I can't, that I can't manage, I will be sure to let you know, but, just keep me posted if there are opportunities you think are being missed.
Okay, update on Eagle Scout projects. Well, we've already heard from Aiden. And we have the other one with Ethan Kerr.
Yeah, Ethan Carr.
And the only update I have is that he's already started his fundraising.
Oh,
We
that's
have
great.
given him his appropriate signature so that he can start his fundraising. Yes.
Well, did we skip B?
Oh, IWW, sorry.
And
Well, let me finish this one quickly.
it's just wondering.
I told you I'd be awkward, so. Yeah, so he's just done his fundraising, and then he's waiting for, information about what to build that one platform on the old dump site, which is gonna be something we're gonna talk about, the new name is gonna be for that. But we haven't had any further updates, but he promised that when he's ready to give us an update, he'll actually attend one of our meetings. Okay, so, and he did find, I think we talked about this at the last meeting, he did find a site where he could get the benches at a much cheaper price.
We did talk about that,
Yeah,
yeah,
we talked about that at the last meeting, so
which is exciting, because he can get more, right? He can get more.
he can get more, yeah. Okay, so IWWC, did you,
I don't attend those meetings. That
Right.
was Todd's job.
right,
And
So
is-
do we need
are you an
someone?
IWWC
I
member?
actually am the new recording secretary. Would you
Oh.
like to know what goes on?
sure.
The-
Is there anything that we need to know
Yes,
that
there is
affects
something
us?
that we do need to know here.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
We went before the IWWC, the Conservation Commission requested approval for the parking lot. Yep, for
The Chagru,
Chagru, yes. And it was approved. I'm trying to find it exactly. It was approved and they did not have any questions that I'm seeing here, that I remember. Yeah, Chagru property. Mary Augustini asked some questions around the crossings, how the crossings would be addressed in the wetlands. You had talked to Mr. Ventris that there would be no bridge installed due to the wetlands being intermittent. Instead, stepping stones through the wetlands would be used. Mr. Ventris also provided an update to Mary Augustini that the vehicular traffic would be prevented from leaving the parking lot and entering the open space with using existing rocks and down trees, because she wasn't so much concerned about vehicles like doing it maliciously, but just like going, just, you know, sliding off. So, so she was comfortable with that. The motion was approved. The exact motion was to create a parking lot in the upland review area and create crossings for hiking trails with stepping stones and no added implements in 2 intermittent streams. So that's what was approved. I can email this to you, Marilyn, if you want it.
Does everybody understand that?
Does everybody follow what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was approved, but they just wanted to make sure that it was very clear that there's no bridge and we only can use stepping stones for the hiking trails.
So
I like the stepping stone.
Yeah.
does that mean you're gonna do that job from now on? Or
Yeah.
do we need designated person?
No, I mean, I'm the recording secretary, so
So
I
you don't
can
mind
certainly
doing
bring
it?
the updates.
All right.
Yeah. And then there were a couple other things that were denoted. I know that there's been some discussion at this particular meeting around Lakeside Dance,
Yes.
and there was an update. Jim went down there. He was asked to visit the site by the owners. I don't exactly know. There were a couple names mentioned, and I don't really understand who's who, but Mr. O'Mara, who I don't know, is he the owner, or is he
He's
the
a
property?
partner.
Okay.
He's a partner.
He's a short, 2 owners. 2 owners, Dan, and then he has a partner.
O'Mara.
O'Mara is one of the owners, and Dan.
Okay.
Dan O'Mara is one of the owners.
Okay.
And then there's another partner whose name begins with a K, maybe. Or
I
something.
can't. Jim was mentioning, and so I asked him, and Jim was like, I don't know who's who. But anyways, O'Mara said the pipe was working prior to him plugging it up. He actually admitted that he plugged it up. He indicated to Mr. O'Mara that he must unplug it, and he also noted that if it does not work after it's been unplugged, there's a corrective order in place. So, and that it's a $15,000 job to fix it according to the corrective order. And so, the corrective order requires it to be fixed. So, whatever happens, if it doesn't work after he unplugs it, he's going to have to pony up some cash.
Wow.
And
Can you back up a step? I missed, where is this site?
Lakeside Dance at this is at Bashan.
Upper Moodus
Oh,
Reservoir.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Upper
Upper
Moodus.
Moodus by the Upper Moodus
Right.
boat ramp.
And he plugged up a pipe for what reason?
That's a
Well,
long
he was
story.
annoyed. I guess what I gleaned was he was annoyed with water flowing downhill or something onto his property. I
He
don't.
was annoyed because the water that was flowing through this pipe was causing erosion where it went into into the Moodus Reservoir.
Yeah.
Pipe's been there for decades. And it drains the water that accumulates in that corner of the parking lot and also the road that goes down to several more cottages there.
So he plugged it up. So now there's all this flooding.
So yeah, so he's created basically the cars have to drive through 6 inches to a foot of water off and get to their cottages.
When there's a heavy rain.
When there's a heavy rain.
Before it goes into the ground, so.
So Jim is actively monitoring the situation and has let him know under no uncertain circumstances that the remediation has to happen, whether he does it himself or he hires. And now he can't just like, if he takes all the stuff out, he can't just pony around with it, and play around with it. He's got to fix it right. So.
Go ahead.
So the other owner is pretty much fed up with it, who's gonna make sure
That's-
it gets taken care of.
Yeah, there seems to be some,
He's what's making it work.
right.
Second owner.
We're recorded, so I won't say anything else.
Okay.
So there's Lakeside Dan's, and then there was just some standard stuff on, like Todd always says, about Bashan, about the reservoir and, on Lake Hayward, repairing dock walls and stuff. That was really it.
They're gonna change the name to Lakeside Dipstick Band.
That was not discussed.
Oh,
I can't
dear.
comment on that.
We're on camera.
We are.
Just an alternate.
I know.
Just an alternate.
Really?
It still is a reflection of the mission of the whole. So.
Okay.
Can't
So-
hide behind that.
Marilyn, would you like me to send you the draft minutes after that meeting?
Sure.
Or do you just want me to give you updates on which one works better for you? You can think about it and let me know.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Let me think about it.
So I'm a little unclear. Shannon, are you going to?
She's the recording secretary for the IWWC.
Oh, so you're already the recording secretary of them, so you report back to us?
Yeah, I can report back to you, yeah.
Oh, so then,
If
so we
that's
don't
what we
need a
decide-
replacement?
That's what you
If
decide.
that's what we
Yep.
want to do, unless we want someone to actually be a liaison and attend the meetings.
Oh, so Shannon doesn't attend the meetings?
She does, because she's
Oh,
the
you do?
recording
Yeah, that's what I
secretary.
thought. Well, then why would we need another liaison?
Well,
There anyway.
Because she's a recording secretary.
not in an official
Not
capacity.
really in a
Oh,
liaison.
Yeah.
oh,
I'm just basically telling you what
It's
happened.
not the official
Aha.
way to do it.
and
So,
Charlotte, there might be a case where we want someone from this commission to sit in
To
on.
sit in
oh,
and
yeah,
have a
okay.
say.
See, that's what I was unclear, because it sounded like
Yes.
you had taken over that
But
job.
Shannon would probably let us know that, right, if you
No,
thought
but
there
we
was a
should,
need
but
for
I'm
somebody
not
to be there.
rely on a recording secretary to tell us. We should do it the official way, which is have a liaison. The proper way to do it is to have a liaison who brings up any issues and represents this commission. She shouldn't be representing us.
That's correct.
She's
And I
not
don't.
actually, she's not technically a member of this commission.
And I'm not a member of that one, and I don't
Right,
actually talk.
so-
They're
If you
30.
wanna be technical, then we need a liaison for planning and zoning,
Yes, we do,
cause
yes,
I sit on the board.
yes, we do.
I thought that you were that.
Yeah,
I was, but technically, if we're technically speaking, that's not the proper way to do it either. We need somebody who's not on the board to be a liaison, per Jim Ventures.
no, I don't see that that's a problem. I mean, she's not on the board, or she's just the recording secretary. But is there a requirement that you can't be a member and be a liaison?
That I don't know.
Because.
Yes,
How
well,
do
it's
you
a
know that?
conflict,
How do you-
because that's what I was told, but I still did it anyway.
Who told you that? Query?
Mr. Ventures,
Oh, Ventures, okay.
Oh, that you shouldn't be liaison if you're a member?
yeah,
Oh, brother.
Well,
it's probably true. So-
huh?
That doesn't seem to make sense to
No,
me.
it doesn't make sense.
We have to,
Well,
Well,
but then,
I'm,
but you
liaisons,
could be a
I can't
liaison
properly-
to the inland wetlands because you're not on that board.
I
But then
could
we
be.
need somebody to be liaison to the P and
I
Z.
don't have time for that though.
Yeah. Complications.
What were you gonna say, sir?
So, by statute, the Conservation Commission is also involved with inland wetlands, which is why we've always had a representative on the IWWC. So, if you read our statutorial,
obligation.
it's not necessarily that. See, most towns, the Conservation Commission is also the IWWC.
They're, yeah, commingled.
They're together, right.
So, and that's why we've always had someone as a liaison with the IWWC from this commission.
And they meet, what, once a month? Once a month, I think they meet.
They do. It says second Thursday.
Second Thursday, okay. So,
Why did I think it was a Tuesday?
I'm sorry, it's a Tuesday. You're
That
right.
we don't
It's-
meet.
It's the Tuesday we
It's the-
did. Yeah.
It's the third Tuesday.
Is it the third Tuesday?
Yeah, planning and zoning is 2 and 4. and
Oh yeah, that's right. It's the third. You're right.
Inland wetlands.
it's the third
It's
Tuesday?
the third Tuesday. Because I go 1 Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays. Yeah.
All right, I'll be the liaison for IWWC then.
Okay. It's a 30-minute meeting, Marilyn. It's quick.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
What?
It's quick.
Where
In
do
Oh,
and
they,
I know, I've been to a
where
couple
do
of
they
them.
meet?
Well,
Here?
they move around.
Okay.
Right next to
Right
it.
next door.
P and Z updates?
Not much has happened. Little Village got approved to move 2
Next.
lots next.
To where?
2 lots next to the,
Next to the.
towards
the
the library,
Oh, okay,
The old
The
Board of
church.
Education, right? Oh, the church. The
the
old
old
church.
church. That's about all.
okay.
The daycare.
And since we're assigning liaisons, we need an open space committee member
Ooh.
too. So,
Do we?
yes, because Todd also did that.
Who did that?
Todd and Rob, right?
Todd did that, yeah.
Todd's listed on the website. So.
That's right.
Yeah, he was always going to meetings. That's why, now that he's on the Board of Finance, which is taking an incredible amount of time, because the paperwork that he has to read is tremendous. That's
Okay,
why
but
he had to
Let's
step
stay
down.
on topic, please. Okay,
Is anybody interested?
when do they meet, Rob, when does the open space meet?
That's the last, 4th Monday.
Does anybody wanna be on that? Okay, I'll do that one too then, 'cause I'm gonna just kill myself.
Mm.
Okay. until someone else is either appointed. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna jump to D, which is the budget discussion, and here's a handout. We started talking about this at the last meeting. We have to approve our proposed budget for 2020 to 2021 tonight. So the categories are under the description column, so we have clerical, purchase property, printing, it's printing and binding actually, office supplies, other supplies, dues, fees, conference, and committee events?
Committee events, yeah.
Committee events.
Now, did that information Sue requested about the previous budgets go out?
They're on the spreadsheet here in front of you.
Okay,
Okay, so you could see there's the
I thought we already
2014
had
to
this.
15.
on
Okay,
the last one.
and then there's the 5-year averages to the far right. So, I was proposing a reduction in our clerical budget from $1,500 to $1,200 because our 5-year average is only $905.60. And I didn't see any reason why we needed to keep it that high. Printing, a purchase property is staying at 0. Printing, I was reducing it from $2,750 to $2,400 because the maps are not being used, the paper maps aren't being used as heavily as they were. People are relying more on the QR code and the online maps. So I reduced it by $350. Office supplies, I kept it 0 because we haven't used any money in that category for a couple of years. Other supplies, I kept at $2,000. Dues and fees, I kept at $300, and conferences I raised from $100 to $450. The reason I did that is we're really actually charged with inventorying invasive species, wildlife. We have a lot of responsibilities that we really haven't done anything with, and my thought was that some of us need to learn how to identify those things, and maybe we need to go to some kinds of training. We also need to have management plans for all of our properties, and a lot of us don't know how to create a management plan, so we need some training, and that's where I was considering these conferences. So that's why I raised it $350 to $450. And the community events I raised from $200 to $500 because I thought we should have more interaction with the public when we open new trails. And we're also in anticipation of the Stewardship Saturdays. Any comments? Any concerns?
Just a question, what is entailed in other supplies?
Other supplies, let's see.
Tools and.
Yeah, it's tools. So in the past, it's been where we bought that brush mower.
What about the supplies for the Rose Farm Bridge? Is that in this budget or did that come from somewhere else? That was a lot of.
That came from that big thing, didn't it?
The capital, the
Capital?
wrap thing?
Yeah, it's also in that 70,000.
There's also a thing that isn't on here, that is that, there's
That's
that money that always carries
17,100.
forward, that other thing that carries forward.
A non-lapsing account?
So that's not in this budget, the carrying forward one.
The 5,000 we have?
It's 17.
17,100.
Yeah, 17.
17,100. And
Oh.
I'm also
Oh,
putting
that-
in there that
that's
we're gonna use 5,000 of that this year because we have old properties that have never been surveyed. Or they haven't been completely surveyed. We might know some of the boundaries, but not the full, and we're gonna need to hire someone to do the surveys. And we're thinking that $5,000 worth of surveys might be required, so we're gonna I'm putting that into the budget as well.
So,
We're gonna take 5,000 out of that 17.1.
so if we cut the budget in half this year, from last year, basically?
Where do you see
Or-
that?
Well,
'Cause
all of
it's- You're saying 6,800, when last year we had 13,000. We have a lot of trees, we might need help taking some of those down too, adjacent to, like, private lands and stuff like that.
the big discrepancy is in the other supplies.
It's in the other supplies. We're not
Category.
anticipating buying any big equipment or anything this year.
We have a lot of trees that we might have to take care of on these trails that are dead, that we don't have help with. So it might be nice to have something there just in case we need to hire somebody, because we're not able to get to all these dead trees ourselves.
I'm not sure, where would that come out of, Rob, do you know?
So, there's a couple things. One is that it could come out of the 17,000,
Yeah, because it could be part of the forest.
and I thought we were going to add 5,000 to that,
To what?
17,000.
That's what I said, we're gonna add
Okay.
we're gonna put
Oh, I
5,000.
thought
I
you
didn't put
said
that
you were.
column in here because that's a separate category.
Yeah, well,
She was gonna take it out.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying, that you were
No,
taking
no.
out 5,000.
We're gonna be using 5,000
but
of
they're gonna
that.
be putting it into the budget for 5,000 additional there.
Right.
And that money can be used for multiple things, from the trail work, for
Right.
gravel, for, you could hire someone to do work for you.
So there's only 12,100 going forward then?
Be 22,000.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're putting 5,000 into
They're
that.
increasing that budget by 5,000. That's the old capital budget,
That's the-
Great.
which we were putting in 5,000 each year approximately.
Yeah.
So now, because of what the projects we're doing, properties that have to be surveyed and everything, we're still putting 5,000, but the capital part of it's gone. It's now in a non-lapsing fund.
Okay, so in other words, instead of 6,850, the town is actually putting in 11,850 for conservation.
Well, it sounds like there's two different budgets.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
two different
yeah.
budgets.
They're two different
Yeah, but I'm saying the total, because as somebody pointed out,
Being increased by 5,000, basically.
but
Yeah,
it says
Charlotte, you're
here,
right.
the 2019 was 13,000, 14 the year before, 15, and all of a sudden over here, 6,500. It looks like it was cut in half. But in addition to that 6,850, we're getting another 5,000 put in,
Right.
but in the other fund.
Right.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, there's the 17.1 and we're gonna add 5,000 to that.
Right.
But that's its own separate little category.
I know, but the thing
Yeah.
is.
No, I understand what
yeah,
you're saying.
Yeah, since it wasn't noted, it makes it look like
Well,
we're,
that's why I was just talking about it, cause it's a totally separate category and I wanted to keep it separate. I really wanted your input on these other ones.
Can I just go back to other supplies?
Yes.
You mentioned a brush mower, but to me that sounds like capital equipment.
No, because it was under, capital now is over 10,000.
Oh, okay. So that would,
And that was actually, when we bought the mower, it came partially out of that money and partially out of money that was also in other funds and capital, so
right,
it wasn't really, we were calling it capital, but everything has changed in
Right.
capital, which is why we've gone to the non-lapsing funds now. So they put a special category in, so it's somewhat confusing.
It is
It's gonna be confusing for a while because we're used to putting in a capital budget, but we have no capital budget anymore because the values increased from 5,000 to 10,000.
okay, gotcha.
The capital projects before were anything, we weren't technically using the capital money for what capital was meant for, because our projects were smaller. So we'd spend $1,000 on a gravel parking lot or whatever. And that money, those type of projects would normally not be included in capital, which is why the Board of Finance created the non-lapsing funds for like our organization
Right.
and Parks and Recreation, things like that. So they have continuing expenses in that range, but they're still, they're below the cost of capital, so.
So out of other supplies, we
That
need
could be nuts, bolts, nails,
Yeah, it's
a
bunch of
hammer,
stain,
occasional rake, right?
tools,
Right.
exactly.
topsoil. It's
Gotcha.
got,
It could be a chainsaw.
Gotcha,
it's got,
okay, got it. I hear you.
yeah, I've got all the stuff in the past
And-
3 years I've got.
And some of the confusion, where it looks like that, you know, at one time we've gone from 13,000 to 6,800, but a lot of that was sometime between 2014 and now, we've evolved to having the two separate budgets. And so a lot of those
Right.
big number expenses are now coming out
Out
of
of a
the,
different fund.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's why it was so confusing on how to present it to you, because it was zeros before, and then all of
Well,
a sudden it pops into.
Could I make a suggestion? Down here, we could have the non-lapsing fund listed, and then, you know, it would be.
Well, this isn't going anywhere, this is just for you, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it would make it clearer for us, if, you know, because that's what was unclear, I think, for all of us. It looked like we were getting our budget cut in half.
Yeah, well, I understand, so, but it's this, this is not gonna be redone, so this has to be submitted tonight, so.
I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
wonderful work. I would throw a couple more hundred on conference and community events.
And speaking of that, we have the CLCC coming up, and be good if we had more than one person go too, so. Not to stray too far off topic, but.
No, well, then we'll have to cut somewhere else, because we have to be
Oh, it's not that much
relatively
money.
flat.
It's not that much money.
It's not that much money, but something has to come off somewhere else then. Where do we suggest
For
we
what?
cut?
The CLCC? No, I'm not talking about cuts, I'm just talking about trying to get somebody else to go.
Well, we should, that's
To the
fine,
CLCC.
but are you suggesting we add more to conferences?
I'm not talking about, oh, no,
Okay.
we'll figure it out, we could pull it out of other supplies if we need to.
What are those
No, we
conferences
can't pull it out of
typically-
other supplies. We have,
That's
What do
for
those
basically anything we need, isn't it?
Conferences typically run $50?
no, what do they
70.
cost? Do you remember what those cost?
At the max be 50, I think they're $48.
Yeah, they're not much.
So at that level, you're getting,
Yeah, you could go, I mean, with conferences, the whole group could go to those if we want.
There was also, we also paid we were members of that.
Yes, you get a discount for them.
That's,
So you get a member or two that goes for free too, so.
I mean, I think last year we offered it to everybody to go, and you're the only one who wanted to go, so.
I'm the only one who volunteered, but
That's what I just said, yeah. You're the only one
I
who
didn't
wanted
offer to go, somebody had to go.
and just
No,
looking,
Been to, I'm not going this year, I've been to it 3 years, it's the
That's
same
fine.
thing over and over, so.
when is the next one?
It's in March.
March, oh, okay.
just to draw your attention, between last year and this year, between last year's budget and this proposed budget, we've little more than quadrupled the conference line and
Yeah.
2.5 times the events line. So that's, you know, that's already a significant
Right.
Yeah.
increase.
It's just 450 and 500 seem like such small amounts of money, they go so fast.
I think that.
I don't have any idea
Yeah,
what we're spending though, so I'm, you know.
A lot of these
Just
conferences
throw
are
'em out.
online things, you can do online training and they're not that expensive. So, I know $450 doesn't seem like much for a class, but
The non-lapsing fund, I'm just wondering, are there any restrictions about what we can use that money for? Or are there any limits that we have to use at least $10,000? Because if it's something.
No.
I mean, you
You
could
don't
have
have to
it
use
in a non-lapsing account, or you could go through the whole year and not use a penny of it if the time, and it still would not
Right, but
lapse.
suppose we needed $1,000 to put down gravel in one of the parking lots, could we go to that non-lapsing?
That's what it's for.
that's what it's for, yeah.
That's specifically what it's for.
Yeah.
But the one thing you wanna keep in mind is that 5,000 of that, approximately 5,000 is for the forestry,
Subcommittee?
yeah, for the forestry program, and that we need that left intact for seed money, so. And any money we make on any future forestry programs would go into that fund too.
The other interest we have is to have our budget slide through the Board of Finance without, we want it
Any
to
cuts, yeah.
come sailing right through the Board of Finance. Don't give them any reason to question
Then,
it.
on that note, I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Can I make one comment?
Yes, you can.
In last month's minutes, Rob mentioned that he was gonna talk to Cindy Verrocchio about the survey, where the money for the survey could come from. I'll read it to you. There are several surveys needed, a number of property. Mr. Smith will talk to Cindy to determine how to handle the survey needs.
We have to talk to her
That's
today.
Clarification on that?
So it's the 5,000,
That's
the
the
5,000,
that's
yeah.
the 5
That's
grand
the
we
5
put
grand
into
that
the
I'm talking
non-lapse.
about.
Okay.
We actually talked to her this morning.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, both of us did, so, yeah, she was fine with us putting it there. And, I'm submitting a document that's required, and I'm giving an explanation for all of the changes that we're making, assuming that you guys approved all of them, so, thank you. So everybody approved.
Yep,
it,
they
so
did. It's
Thank you so much.
Did we
And
vote?
this doesn't mean this is what it's gonna be the final budget, cause it has to go before, obviously, the Board of Finance, but,
I can probably guarantee it won't be any higher.
yes. Okay,
Did we need to vote, or did,
no, we did,
we did?
we did. It was so smooth that
It
you
was
didn't
so
even notice
smooth,
it.
The eyes carried it.
Eyes carried it.
And it was all eyes.
Okay, next on the agenda. Okay, potential names for the old dump site. We had one that we mentioned in our last meeting.
Salmon River Overlook.
Is that what it was?
I thought it was
Salmon
Vista.
River Overlook. What, did everybody like that?
I love it.
Nobody liked it last time.
What about Outlook or Lookout? I thought we came up with Vista though last time, because I remember SRV as being the,
Yeah, SRV, you're right.
Salmon Vista, Salmon River Overlook, Salmon River Lookout. I think Salmon River Overlook flows the
Salmon
best.
River Vistas, the.
Yeah, yeah. Salmon River Overlook. So I make a motion that we name the old dump site Salmon River
Well, does
Overlook.
anybody have any other suggestions first? Let's
Well,
hear if anybody, nobody
Then-
has
then
any?
there's- Then you second it, and then there's discussion, right?
Yeah, but I just thought we'd just ask if anyone were having a little discussion first, so.
Well, I was just trying to remember the right protocol, but I didn't get a
It's
Well,
second.
the protocol could be after we have a little discussion.
I would
So
agree.
let's have a
It makes it
little
easy. It makes it a little easy when you do that.
I would recommend Salmon River Vista.
Yeah.
I agree, Bernie.
What,
Think
so,
that
Because it
flows
is
better.
really, it is a vista, it's not, how high is it? It's
I don't
not-
know, I haven't been down there yet.
How high is it?
25 feet.
25 feet.
So it's not really an overlook,
And,
really,
and
right?
when you're,
It does overlook the
It
city.
does overlook the,
Right,
but
but-
it is a vista of the Salmon
but I think
River,
of, I
too.
think of a vista as being sort of a
More expansive.
panorama. Is it more of a panorama
Right.
than a overlook?
Isn't an overlook where you look from and the vista is what you see?
Yeah.
Technically.
True, that's true.
Were you an English teacher?
100 years from now, nobody will care what we
Slept
named
it on Holiday Inn
it.
Express last night.
When you're going to the site, when you're sitting in that Adirondack chair, are you looking at a panorama?
No.
Yes.
Are you?
You're looking actually, if you don't look down at all, you're looking across into Haddam and the hills of Haddam.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So Todd wasn't able to find any names?
So the names are inconsequential that you have.
Really?
Yeah, we talked
Unless you
about
wanna call it the Quilla's.
Overlook.
Folly, folly, right.
There was nothing that was more important or whatever, you know, so I think if we stick with Salmon River, it makes good sense
Yeah,
because it's
where
the
it
Salmon
is.
River there. It's just a question of what do we want to add for the third word.
Vista.
So Overlook, Vista, Lookout, what else did we come up with?
Point.
Salmon River Point? Is it
Really,
a point
it's
there?
really not on a point.
Yeah. View.
Salmon River Mound.
Why don't we take a straw poll here? We can have a straw poll.
I like Salmon River
Oh,
Overlook.
who has a smartphone? Look up on the thesaurus, other words for Vista or whatever. We might come up with something really unique.
Salmon River Promontory.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness.
I came up with one last time, and now I can't
I know, so
remember.
did I.
It was something good.
Synonyms
But now I
for
don't remember.
Vista.
Well, when we're talking about this, should we order a sign? And stick a sign in there, once we figure out the name, of course, but.
Well, eventually we will, yes.
View, prospect, panorama, aspect, perspective, spectacle.
That's cool. I like
I like spectacle. Riverscape. Riverscape, seascape, landscape.
Salmon Riverscape.
You could
Salmon
call it salmon
riverscape.
riverscape.
There you go. I like that one. Rob, you have to.
Tongue twister.
Overlook.
Rob, is your elbow
Overview.
bothering
Salmon
you?
River overview. Overlook.
There's a couple more. Yeah.
Don't make it any harder.
You went through those so fast. Could you do
Oh.
it again more slowly?
Yeah, so glimpse, scene, scenery, seascape, riverscape, landscape, look, outline, panorama, sight, field of vision, vision.
Did you say bluff or
Oh, you could use bluff too. They didn't say bluff, but you could use bluff too.
The old dump site at Salmon River.
Sounding better and better. But riverscape is kind of cool. Riverscape or scape, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I kind of like Riverscape too, but
Rob doesn't like it.
it doesn't
Well,
matter.
Rob's
what he
not the
thinks.
chairman anymore. We don't
I
have to
know, it
listen to
doesn't
him.
matter what he
It's just
thinks.
having
We
pain
should
in his
vote.
elbow. It's just-
So why don't we just do an informal vote? How many people like Salmon River Overlook? Okay. How many people like Salmon Riverscape?
Nobody likes it.
How many people like Salmon River Vista?
I like the Vista, I think.
Three.
I
Wow,
think it
3 and
closed
3.
together.
Uh-oh.
I like the Vista.
flows?
Okay, who hasn't voted?
Sue, did you vote?
Chairman doesn't vote unless it's a tie.
No, I vote.
She voted.
Oh, you voted, okay, so, but we got 3 and 3. Oh, and then somebody voted for a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's not
I'm
coming
an
out right.
alternate.
For this
Well,
you
can
can-
we,
For this
It's not
you
a
can
real
vote.
vote.
Did you vote for both of them?
I didn't vote for
Oh,
either.
that's, I was saying, one person didn't vote
This
for
is a
either, so now you can
straw
be the tiebreaker.
You could flip a coin.
Is it Overlook or Vista?
I like Salmon Riverscape.
Oh,
But nobody.
Overlook.
Overlook, okay.
Oh my God, you guys are
That's
hysterical.
4 to 3. Shall we do it again officially or not?
Well, we're still gonna come up with the same one. Why would it change?
No, you have 4 to 3.
And, yeah, it's 4 to 3 with him, since he
Overlook?
couldn't vote for Riverscape.
Oh,
Yeah, he voted for Overlook, he said, right?
well,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
that's what it is then.
And that's what's printed in here, as I recall, somewhere.
this ranked choice voting. We had just ranked choice.
So it's
voting.
Overlook? We're back to Overlook?
Yes.
Wow.
Overlook Vista.
Salmon
Redundant,
Vista
redundant,
Overlook.
we don't want redundant.
What
be
we
the-
need to do is come up with an
Sorry.
acronym, like at the Aetna days. We need to come
Oh,
up with a good acronym.
SROV.
There you go.
Well, it's SRO, so it's.
SRO.
Resource.
Oh, right.
Salmon
Salmon River sort of
See.
overlook.
Salmon Vista
Right,
Overlook.
right here, the name Salmon River
Salmon River
Overlook was
over
suggested.
Vista.
Yeah, it was.
So-
Over Vista.
Over Vista.
I don't think it's a word.
I was
Personally,
going for
Riverscape
Mount
is sounding
Trashmore
better and better.
myself, so.
Or the Vista look.
It is.
SRV is
Sort
a
of
well-known
redundant.
acronym.
What?
SRV is a well-known acronym. Or, I don't know if you guys remember Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, yeah.
SRO.
SRE.
standing room only.
SRV.
SRV stands for?
SRO, standing room
Stevie
only.
Ray
That's
Vaughan
also
or
common.
Salmon River.
SRO.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
He's a
Guitar
guitarist.
player.
He's
Yeah,
he's
from
a
the-
master guitarist.
Hey, but that's
What does he have to do with the
It's also
because
Salmon?
a Kentucky
SRV.
bourbon.
It's more well-known of
I
a
think SRO is more well known than SRV.
Yeah.
This is on tape.
SR. Well, currently it is.
And the SRO, there's something
Alright.
in the military, it stands for something or other officer. Can't remember what though.
Senior.
Whatever. All right, whatever. Do we have to decide tonight? We don't.
We voted already.
No, we didn't vote. That was an
4 to
informal
3.
vote. You
That
had
was a
started
straw
a
poll.
motion.
No, we don't have to decide tonight.
We don't.
Let's postpone to the next
Okay.
Think about it this weekend.
meeting.
We should
will
all
decide.
meet up there and
Well, maybe the
That's a
Eagles
good
Club
idea.
needs to decide as well. Maybe he needs to vote as well, because it's his project. Too, right?
well, it's
Oh,
not
that's
his
a good
property.
idea.
Yeah, so maybe,
Maybe we can work the word eagle into it.
You know, I kind of thought that was cool.
Let's
Eagle's
have a
nest?
town referendum.
We should do that.
that's a good idea. That's a
Good use of taxpayer money
Special
there.
vote.
All right, so this will stay on for the next agenda.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to note that you'll reach out to Ethan Card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh, We are pathetic.
How do you access
Okay.
that site, Joe?
All right, new business, new bills. We had a
No,
bill
it's,
from
it's over there by
Sidebar.
Creek Road property.
2128.
Get the name of the street now. I think it's one,
28 cents?
Yeah, I forget what it was for.
do you know where the Salmon River boat launches?
Yeah, just one bill.
Right over by there.
Okay, I can find it.
Motion to pay the bills?
Vista.
All right, pay attention, please, Charlotte. No talking, please.
Motion to pay the bills,
Get to,
It's a bill for
$28.
So it's overnight.
2128.
2128 for white chip brush and multi-mix BP fuel gallon, whatever the heck that is. What
I
is
move
that?
we pay it.
Gasoline.
Second.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We already did the review of the subcommittees. I don't know why this was on this order, but whatever.
Oh, because it was a new agenda.
Yeah, that's probably my fault.
No, it's not a problem.
Next property focus. Does anyone have any suggestions on what the next property we should work on is?
well, I had a suggestion. Did we finish Dean rerouting that trail yet? We could do that unless we need to go back to Chagru.
Well, Chagru still needs some work, right? We still need we haven't painted the trails.
Well, it
yet.
needs more painting and there's one more loop to put in.
Okay, so maybe it's Chagru that we continue to work on Chagru. Okay.
We didn't paint that, the second trail in Chagru.
It just needs painting?
It needs to have some additional paint. put on it,
Additional.
and turns and stuff. Very much.
I could go paint that on my own time sometime so we can do
Well,
something to involve the whole
someone
work
should check
party.
both the blue and the red trails. They need some clarification where the trails turn.
The trail's cut already though?
Full trails are already cut.
All right, I'll note that you'll work on that, Joe.
Then there's another trail gonna be put in using the ATV trail kind of through the center, looping around. Yeah,
Is the painting already been started? So I know.
not on the third trail, no. The others are, well, the blue and the red are both started. Blue starts at the parking lot, and then the red picks up off of that.
So,
What's the third trail?
That'll probably be white.
Okay, and that's been marked, but it's not painted. It has been marked. Okay,
Nothing is done on that one.
all right.
We still need to get back to Roaring Brook also, I believe, and finish tagging it.
Okay. Do we? Yeah.
That needs to be retagged.
Okay, so,
When you say tag, you mean boundaries?
There's one more trail that has been GPS, but it hasn't been cut.
Is it have you flagged it?
Yeah.
Flagged, but not cut. Do you have the metal detector in your position?
Ventures has that at the moment.
See, that could be something we might want to think about investing in also. I don't know if it's worth it for us, but
Usually we're not usually using the same piece of equipment at the same time, so. Actually, I think the Conservation Commission bought that.
I think so too.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
ours, so.
I think after TJ resigned, we got it. Or maybe
That's
when
just before you did.
yeah.
no, I didn't.
no,
I just remembered they had it after like 2 years.
yeah, I have it at my house. I told them I left it home, so I'll get it.
I just didn't want to lose track of
Yeah,
it.
I'll
That's
get it.
fine, as long as I know where it's at.
I also would like to have someone volunteer to learn how to do a GPS of a trail where when I get the data to put on the map that it's not a mess. So if someone would like to volunteer for that, you don't have to volunteer right now, but I would greatly appreciate it. I will bake you something that you want.
keep looking
Yeah.
at me.
No, but I can't be the only one who
I
can
know.
do these trails.
Can
Somebody else.
can I do that as an alternate?
Yeah.
That sounds like a blast. I'd love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's not hard. It isn't hard. The
Okay.
key is you have to
Okay.
just make sure that you don't get off trail.
Off trail.
Yeah, because then it has all
Otherwise you
kinds
map
of weird
wrong
stuff on
things.
that.
Circles and
Yeah, it
arrows.
gets really ugly. So
Does the commission own its own GPS?
I thought it
we
did.
jointly own one with the land trust. Yes. Yeah. But it's really easy. So someday we'll go out together. And,
She says that, but I tried it and I screwed it every time.
Gotta stay focused.
I got.
You gotta stay focused, yeah.
Well, if you just veer off,
Well, we
10
know
feet
why you were so
screws it up.
successful, because of Jack. He
Yeah.
knew the trail, right?
He knew the trail, he would always know the right way to go, yeah. I would be standing there going, where now? And he'd go right in the right direction. Okay, and I also, just an additional item, I just was contacted today by someone at the high school who has another Eagle Scout project that they're doing. They're not asking the Conservation Commission to help, they're doing another nature trail on the opposite side of where the existing nature trail is, and they asked if someone would help them GPS it and put it on a map. Which is what brought to mind that I need someone to help do this, because I did the last one and I need people to help me. So I'm meeting with him on Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Now, what property is that on?
It's at the high school property. We're doing a nature trail. So,
That's the 14th. Yeah? Monday, did you say Monday?
Monday or
Monday?
Tuesday of
Okay,
next week, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
Maybe that
we
could be
could
something
do
you
that
and I
and
could do
get a
that
start.
together, yeah.
okay, sure.
Okay, because he just needs someone to GPS it. And
You like my cell phone number?
yes, please.
203 859 0747.
Thank you, Tom.
I can't wait to get texts from you.
Okay. All right, any public comment?
Any public?
Marilyn? Since you're doing the liaison to the P and Z, I
I
could,
didn't say I would do P and Z.
oh, which one did you
Inland
say?
wetlands.
WWC
Right, and then the open space.
and open space.
I'll do open space if you don't wanna do both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
All right, you don't want to do P and Z?
No.
Okay.
No, it gets my dander up too much.
I'll continue doing it, but I'm just saying if we were gonna be technical about stuff, I don't think I was supposed to be doing that.
All right, we'll figure something out. All right, so our next meeting is February 4th in this location. And by the way, if anyone has any items they want to put on the agenda, that you're welcome to do that. You don't have to run it by me. It doesn't have to be just me that puts items on the agenda. Okay.
Send me an email.
Okay, so do I need to do a motion to
No.
close? Okay. We are done.
The motion to adjourn, is that?
No, we don't need a motion to adjourn.
You don't need a motion.